are diving into Dead City Season 2, Episode 6. Welcome to Screens in Focus, the podcast where we talk about TV and movies. I'm Diana. Sam is here. Hi, Sam.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm upright.
I know. So happy to see you sitting up. So I'm glad. I hope you're doing good.
Recovery is going well.
Awesome. So one of our listeners called in, and I wanted to first say that we always appreciate feedback. So thank you for calling in. And also, last week we talked about the reasons why Maggie may have left the hilltop and is now at the bricks and how it relates to Rick and Michonne. And sometimes I may not convey what the exact message is. And I just want to say, I hope I didn't put my feelings on top of that or what I thought on top of that, because I just want to let our listener, all of our listeners know that we love a good discussion on The Walking Dead and all the universe. So I'm just grateful that people do call in and leave messages. And so with that about Maggie, they conveyed that they don't think Maggie's a bad person. We don't think Maggie's a bad person. We know Maggie's just going through grief. Heck, we're watching this with Maggie, so we all appreciate her and who she is as a character. So I wanted to say that. And also, they had an answer to our question of the day last week, which was, who would you least want to be stuck with in an apocalypse? The Dama, Croat, or Bruegel? And they said the Croat, because he's unpredictable and he just kills people and doesn't have any regret. So that's basically, I think, along the lines what they said. And, they also confirmed that Bruegel had won so many things from Christos, including weapons. And that was how they were able to plant the weapon that the Croat saw where the lights went out in last week's episode. All right. We love this. We love when people call in and help us along and give us answers and such. So again, we appreciate all that. All right. So we're going to get to our question of the day this week, which is, if you could ask a Dead City character a question right now, who and what would it be? And we're going to answer that later on. And we invite you to answer that too, okay? In digging into episode 6 of Dead City, it's all about bears, bruises, and broken bonds. Maggie versus the bear. Herschel makes another shift again. The Croat is booted out again from Negan's group. Ginny confronts Negan, and he sends his family away and might be stepping into a new role. There's physical hits, there were emotional blows. Everyone's coming out bruised and battered. I really want to talk about Maggie and this bear. That was so wild. We knew it was coming. We didn't know when. And so the big question sort of was, is this a walker bear? Is it a real bear? It's a regular bear, which was confirmed by Scott M. Gimple. Okay, there's that. So what'd you think of the bear and everything else?
Well, first of all, I was on Instagram this morning, or a social, and I saw like an article that said that Lauren Cohan actually directed the episode, and I really I really enjoyed the episode, and I thought like it had some really cool like things happening in it, and I love that it was her. I love that she's stepping into that role. It's fantastic. But the bear, wasn't a fan. I think I'm just too soft. Like, I have no problem, like, no, I don't know. That girl got her face eaten off. I didn't blink. But, like, you kill a bear in front of me, and I'm like, that's inhumane and whatever else. It was huge and it was terrifying.
It was because it was a bear that you weren't happy with it. It wasn't what you saw as far as the scene and if it should have been in there. I'm just curious.
I feel like I can't figure out, other than like, I think, did the bear really have much point? Like, I don't know. Like, I wonder.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I'm like, I was all excited to see the bear, But to me, it didn't feel as afraid or as that it was warranted there. I think maybe it would have been different if they were outside. Don't you
Yep.
think it would have been like running, trying to run or trying to escape, like they're going along and then all of a sudden they see the bear and they've got to figure out a way to escape it? To me, that would have been a better place, I think,
I think,
personally.
yeah, because I feel like she's in the museum and like she's making a ton of noise. So eventually people will hear and she'll,
But
get
they
help.
didn't.
They didn't, I know, which that's unbelievable. But maybe they're in, I mean, the Met's ginormous. So maybe they were in different parts. And I thought it was fun that there were walkers there that she could kind of use to
Oh,
like
yeah.
distract. But then
Yes.
she just stood there and watched it. And I was like, girl, you should scoot. Like, but I guess and but that's also like a really brave thing for her to do because if she just leaves and
Yeah.
runs away, then that thing's loose in the museum and more people are going to die. But the walkers were kind of fun. It acted like they
Yeah.
weren't even there. And well, one thing that was kind of weird more about the bear is that when they found the guard who had gotten attacked by the bear, Bruegel acted
Yeah.
like I don't know, like he didn't know. Obviously, I wouldn't know what had killed her either, but he acted like the bear hasn't been in the park for years and hasn't been roaring. Like we heard it roaring in the park, and if they're right by
Yeah.
the Met, I don't know. I just wonder why it hasn't been like an issue. But maybe it was eating walkers and didn't really need anything, and maybe if Bruegel and everyone killed all the walkers, so now it's like hungry. Central Park is like ginormous too, so maybe it's just been like on the fringes or who knows. I thought it was really cool though that even though it was really sad of watching it get taken down,
Yeah.
thought we got to see Herschel use his knife skills that we had seen like earlier in the season. I guess it's kind of nice that he doesn't like listen to her, kind of like how Carl never listened to Lori,
Yeah.
because without him there, she wouldn't have made it probably. That's not
Yeah.
true. She's Maggie. She'd have made it, but it might have been like a little bit harder. What do you think of the
I
bear?
Well, everything that you've said, yes, because like I said, I was excited to see the bear. I just think it would have been. I just think inside. I don't know. It was okay. I will tell you, the second time I watched it, I appreciated it a little bit more.
Same.
The only thing that didn't make sense to me was that table, and it like pushes the table to the side. I'm like, that's something a human would do. That is
Yeah.
not something a bear would do. I was waiting for it to get up and like run toward her. That's what I would have wanted to see,
Yeah.
right? Of course, it could have broken the table, but still, I just felt like I wanted it to like come at her, right? Just like
Mm-hmm.
run at her because that would have been scary. But I agree with you with the parts that I did like. I love the walker part where she
Mm-hmm.
used them. I like that Herschel was able to. I thought when she grabbed those weapons off the wall and she threw them, I thought, oh, maybe she'll get one, but she didn't. I'm like, darn. But then it was cool to see Herschel do that. And then how it ended up impaling itself on those rods. That was, that was a good way for that part to end. But yeah, I kept saying, can't anyone hear this? I mean, the bear is hitting itself against that door. It was so loud. And then she yells, help. But I think she's yelling so that it'll follow her because she doesn't want
Mm-hmm.
it to follow Herschel because she's acting like a mama bear. She's
Yep.
like, don't you get near my kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, yeah, that's what I thought of the bear. But what else about Maggie and Herschel and all of that? What did you think of that interaction?
I didn't expect Herschel to want to poison everybody like with the Walker blood. Like I'm shocked that he's that
Yeah.
like devious. Like
Yes.
I don't know if I don't know. He's what, like 15, something like that. I find it hard to believe that he would come up with that on his own. Maybe like Ladama's like I mean she's dead, but like he doesn't know that. Maybe she had like given him a plan or something.
Herschel is 17.
Okay. He's more of an adult now.
So, Maggie, oh man, I feel like she's clearly bruised here, inside and out, especially
Mm-hmm.
after that conversation with Herschel and then with the bear. I'm like, man, this poor thing is getting battered one way or the other as a mom, as a fighter, as a leader. I was so shocked with Herschel, shocked, because I really thought last week, I was feeling like, whew, he's come to back to the light. He knows right from wrong. He's going to support his mom, all of that. And then now, like you said, trying to poison people. And who was that? Was he going to take off? Like, what about his mom and Ginny and Pearlie? I mean, this kid is not thinking ahead. He's being very reckless. And it's, I just don't know where his head's at right now. I'm glad he stuck around. I feel like he's saying one thing, and maybe he's just lashing out at his mom, and that's what I have to think, right? You're just lashing out. Oh my gosh. And then when he pushed her, I forgot about that part. Oh man.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh man. I'm like, no, you didn't just do that to your mom. Oh, but then that's when the bear came. So it kind of, made that go away. But
yeah.
Oh, so, and it's like Maggie can't do any right by him because Maggie wants him dead, Negan dead, and he's mad. Now Maggie wants to help Negan and he's mad. So I'm like, okay, she's shown growth here. And I feel like every single episode, Maggie is being aware and listening, asking him. I'm thinking, how much more can she do? I really don't know. Like, I would feel at like a loss if I were her. Like, I don't even know what to do anymore because no matter what I do, it's not the right thing. So, and he tells her, you're lying to yourself. And, she's all, let's just go home. We won't do all that. And he's like, oh, you just want to go home? That's not home. You're just faking it there. And I'm thinking, okay, I think he wants something, but he's blaming her. And I don't think it's really her anymore. I think it might have been before, maybe previously, but I think this season, I feel like she's really stepping up and I really can't figure out what else she can do right now.
I feel like, because you had said that she can't do anything like right by him. I feel like maybe he's mad at himself and not really like mad at her.
Right.
Yeah, because he's the reason that they're stuck. He's the reason that all those people died, and he's beating himself up for it. And one way to do that is to make your mom not want to be around you, which is so sad.
And sometimes when you don't even understand your own feelings and you have your mom there and she's a safe place, she's going to love you no matter what, that's who you lash out at because it's easy, unfortunately, to do. It just is. And I think what I said makes sense. I think what you just said makes sense. So it's like, that's probably the road he's heading down. So I don't know. We're going to find out. But I also wanted to say, well, the Dama's dead. So I wonder what's going to happen when he finds that out. And then with Pearlie and Bruegel, because, Bruegel ends up not capturing, I don't even know the right word because he does. And he says, oh, but you're
Tricks
free to
him.
go. Yeah, I guess. But then he takes Pearlie and he really wants to use him and he's going to do anything he can. And he divulges that Narvaez was alive and spilled some beans. So, okay. One, she was being chewed at, like her parts of her insides were coming out. So I don't know how she crawled to what. And why would be the first thing that you would tell somebody is to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's not like,
Pearlie lied. Negan's alive,
Does Bruegel even know who Pearlie is? Like,
right? No, that's why it's like, why would that be spewing out of her mouth? I don't know.
I thought it was, we'll talk about that more like a little bit down the line, but I thought it was strange too.
Yeah, let's talk about Negan, the Croat, and even Jenny, because Negan has been playing all these mind games, which really caught up with the Croat, and it just sparked this brutal showdown that ends with Negan taking back control and sending the Croat away. And so, Sam, you had a theory last week that Negan might be stepping up as the leadership role. So what are your thoughts now that it seems like this is happening?
kind of excited and I'm very curious to see how he rolls, honestly, because I feel like he's no longer the like OG Negan. I don't think he could get back there. I think his humanity is too turned back on. I think he feels too bad about everything that he has done to even consider going back there fully. But it does concern me that he turned his family away to save them from himself. That doesn't necessarily mean that he plans on going like full like OG Negan, but it
Yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of like worries me. I do think if anyone could bring together all of the various like groups in New York, I feel like Negan can maybe do it. Like after he's probably gonna have to kill Bruegel, but I feel like he'd be able to like wrangle the troops and make
Yeah.
like a like a united thing. And then I had a fun thought. I was like, what if Maggie's like his second in command and make sure he stays in line because like Herschel doesn't want to go back to the bricks. That's not home for him, but he seems to really love the city. So can they stay in the city and make it better? Kind of how like is it aren't Rick and Michonne in Philadelphia? Is that where the Commonwealth? Where are they?
The Commonwealth is primarily located in Ohio.
But
Ohio.
the CRM, which is where they were last, is in Philadelphia. And I think they were going back there to make it like not a dictatorship, I think. If I'm remembering correctly, which I might not be.
All I remember is the helicopter, and I assumed, yeah,
Yeah. But it would be really
we're
cool though
going.
if they were in Philly because New York and Philly are very close together and that could be like nice. And
Ah,
they could turn New York into what they have where it's like a completely, it's like a normal city. That'd be kind of
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's been a few years though, so in between,
Oh, that's right. Because you did a
yeah,
timeline.
yeah,
Oh, shoot. Okay, that maybe throws. Anyway, maybe we can get there. I still feel like maybe it's a
yeah,
possibility.
yeah.
I was shocked that the Croat had gotten as many like knocks on Negan as he did.
I said the
Um,
same thing.
yeah, I just I think Negan let him hit him if I'm honest because I feel like I don't know. I just do. But I do think that the Karat was always going to find out about the rat and about like the truth and things like that. Just those things kind of just have a way of like slipping out. But I enjoyed the Karat because Negan makes him admit that without Negan, the Karat wouldn't be anything. And he says like the way the Karat says that you made me what I am. And I was hoping he'd be like into a monster like you or something, just to kind of like, just like to dig in, I guess.
I
But
think that's what he was implying. That's
oh,
what
you
I
think?
felt.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
I thought the way he said, "You made me everything I am." I don't know, the way he said the last words, I'm like, "Ooh, I
Ooh,
think he's digging into Negan in a way,
I like
right?"
it.
I
Hmm.
think that's what I was thinking he said.
I do think that Negan allowing the Karat to like scurry away is going to bite him in the ass because it bit him in the ass before, just like years down the line. And I know that like, and that's where I think like the old Negan would have to come back in a little bit because I'm not necessarily saying he needs to go like bash people in to prove a point, but maybe you shouldn't bash in the crowd. You should just like put him in jail. I guess would be like
Yeah.
a nice like compromise. I'm excited to see what he and Maggie will get into next week.
Wait, there's a couple things I wanted to say about the Croat. So one,
Mm-hmm.
him realizing that Negan manipulated him the way first he sees the rat, then he sees it on his shoe, and I'm like, holy crap, they're showing that already. I mean, I thought it was fast. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
shocked that that was happening already, but I'm kind of glad at the same time because it moves everything forward. I too was surprised that the Croat got swings into Negan. I'm like, come on, Negan. And then Negan finally gets up and swings back and pushes him back and all of that. Cause I'm like, yeah, I don't see this, but okay. Oh, I thought it was interesting that he kind of pats the Croat on the back, like when the Croat is breaking down in the hallway. And I found that really interesting. I'm like, why is he caring about this guy? Like, I feel like and the fact that he let him go and he didn't kill him and he didn't put him in jail, like, and he tells him, you know what, this is your fresh start. Go do what you need to do. And he says, well, that was what I was doing when I crashed my boat. but he's encouraging him. Like he wants him to go, off and do something. So I find that so interesting. I'm kind of curious why, even after he's done these things, kind
I
of
don't think he wants
horrific
to kill
things.
him. I really don't think
Yeah.
Negan wants to go back there because I think he's afraid once he gets a little taste like of that, maybe he'll like it will be harder to turn off. Like it's like a
Yeah.
slippery slope. Negan wants to give the Croat as many chances as he can so he doesn't have to do that, which I
Yeah.
think is
Yeah.
noble and kind of
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
But I think that, and that will make it all the more heartbreaking if Negan does have to kill the Croat because he's tried so hard not to. We finally got an answer to where the historian Benjamin was. I kind of
Yeah.
didn't forget about him. We talked about him like I think like last week. Did not think he was going to be in jail. Glad he's not in that trunk.
Good thing Negan hangs out there because that guy would have probably died, He's just locked
hmm
up in there.
Yeah, and I like their conversation because Benjamin doesn't know what to make of Negan. I think he like because you can see him because I think at one point Negan makes a joke, but it's like not really a joke, and Benjamin's like, and Negan's like, "Oh, I'm
Uh,
just like effing with
yes.
you,"
Yes.
and he's probably like probably so terrified because one, he was on a boat that got exploded. He washed up on shore. He's been in a trunk a bunch of times. The Dom is a jerk to him. Now he's in the dark for 3 days. Then this guy comes up and he's like, "Hey, would you like some vodka or whatever they were drinking?" And he's just like, part of like, "I just want to shower and I want to like." But I really enjoyed their like conversation because the way Negan talks about his past person, it's full of it's super sad. Like he's not bragging about it. He's not happy about it. Like he talks about it with like a lightness, but it's still there's like heavy undertones. And I think that's like it's a good thing. He's not the same person he was. If he was the same old
Right.
Negan, he'd have been like, haha, I bashed all those
Right.
MFers in or whatever.
Yes.
I really liked it. And I hope that Maggie gets to see that part of him.
Yeah. I Negan has had a lot of vulnerability this season, and we see it more and more and more, and I'm just kind of really impressed with Jeffrey Dean Morgan and
Oh,
what he's doing here. And that conversation, first I wanted to say about Benjamin, I thought it was funny that you and I had talked about how he made fun of the Dama, and he brings that up. He's all, I think I got in trouble for what I said, which is what we thought. We're like, ooh, you're going to get in trouble. But I didn't really think he was going to
mm-mm.
pay the price. I thought he would have then, not the next episode, or that we would find out that he was jailed up because he opened his mouth. I thought that was actually kind of amusing. It's not good to be jailed up, but just the fact that, yeah, she went there. She's all, you're going to talk about me? I'm putting you in the cell. And then we wondered where he was. So I liked that he had an answer, right? He had an
Mm-hmm.
answer, and things happen behind the scenes that we didn't really know but make sense to us. But that conversation between Negan and Benjamin was, I mean, Negan's talking to everybody. He talks to the Croat about things. He's talking to Benjamin. He's talking about Maggie. So he's kind of really spilling his guts all over the place. But the thing that he said to Benjamin was, maybe the thing they needed saving from was me, which was
My
a
heart.
moment. Yeah, a moment that hit hard, especially knowing that he sends his family away after he sees them. Oh, man. It was kind of nice seeing his son. Like, I had no
Mm-hmm.
idea if he was going to be like 1, 5, 10.
Yeah.
I had no idea, right? So he's old enough to stand there, maybe 3, 4 years old. I don't even
Yeah.
know how old he was, but of course we don't really see him. We just see him through the binoculars. So, but yeah, so I just think it just shows the guilt that he's carrying, and that he's not, like you had said too, he's not the man who ruled before when he ruled by fear. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
He's a
Mm-mm.
changed man. And I think he would do so much better this time around. And I just think he doesn't believe he deserves the good things right now, because he's had to make bad choices. But unfortunately, in this apocalypse, you always do. All the people that we care about in this show, they all have made terrible decisions. They've all done terrible things at one point or another. I mean, not horribly horrific things, but they've had to kill people, unfortunately.
They've had to kill people who didn't like deserve to die, that they were
Yeah,
just like collateral damage, or like, you know, like when our crew went into like the Savior compound like the first time and killed like all those
yeah,
people. The
yeah.
Saviors themselves were not good, but I don't think they deserved that. Like that's
Right.
just that's a cycle like
Yeah,
of
yeah.
retaliation or whatever that is. And so, but yeah, it's like, oh, that's awful to think about. The apocalypse like turns people like that,
Into
or
their
makes them
worst
do
self
things.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And I
is.
feel like at some point, like for Negan and for everybody, that's like a defense mechanism, and that's sometimes that's what you have to do, and it's probably really hard to like unlearn because you're still in the zombie apocalypse, so it's not like you can relax.
Right.
And
And we
you
still
don't have like there's not like a therapist on call.
and we still don't know why Negan told Ginny that he killed her father. Why? Is there a reason why? What was her father doing or not doing? Or did he make that up? And if it is true, was the father coming at him? Did the father do something? I mean, there's got to be a reason, especially with Negan being the man that he is now,
Yeah.
So was it back when he was Negan and the Saviors? It was, more current. So it just, I don't think he said everything. Maybe he doesn't want to hurt her or let
Yeah.
her believe that her father did anything wrong. So I think there's more to that story too.
Do you remember how Negan like killed her dad? Like was she around and Negan like they were
He
like to
just told her. I don't think we saw anything. And
Mm-mm.
I can't recall when they got, I thought Negan just had her in season one. Like I thought she was just with him.
Yeah. Yeah,
So I
he's
don't,
like, I think from what I remember, I feel like she doesn't talk because she saw her dad as like a walker, and I think like he saved her from that, maybe. I feel like there is trauma surrounding like losing her dad, and that's why she really wasn't talking.
right. I think you're right. I
Yeah.
think you're right.
So I wonder if Negan is, because you mentioned that he like you're wondering why he's telling her this and maybe he's lying. What if Ginny had something to do with her dad like
Right.
being killed and he doesn't
Yeah.
want her to know that, and so he's
Yeah.
covering for her?
Yeah. That could very well be it. So we shall find out because I
Yeah.
think that there's more to that story.
Hmm?
The last thing I just wanted to say about Negan and Benjamin is that he does at the very end tell him, "Welcome to the winner's circle." But even though he says it, it's like the winner's circle is not a great place to be.
He says it with like
Yeah.
it's very like it's like a dry like welcome to the winner circle.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
dry.
Okay. So talking about Negan, I want to talk about Negan and Maggie because this was, oh,
So good.
yeah, I can't wait to talk about it. But so after everything, the hate, the pain, the bear attacks, Maggie still warns him of Bruegel. And it's like, wait, are you shifting gears here? Is it about trust, strategy, regret? What's it about? So, what did you think of the scenes with them?
So before we get to that, I wanted to talk about a scene between Maggie and
Oh,
Ginny that
yeah.
happens in like in the museum.
Yes.
She talks to Ginny, and I don't really remember the like most of the conversation, but Maggie tells Ginny that she sees her reflection, that she sees a lot of Maggie in her.
Yeah.
And I think Maggie doesn't like the reflection because I think she can see like how like hateful that like how hateful she's become, how like she's like one track minded, like she's so like her only focus like it seems to be is like to get to Negan. And I don't think that Maggie really wants that for herself or for Herschel or for the people in her life. And she really starts, and I think she knows that she needs to make a change for everybody. And so I think that's why she like tells him that, because she doesn't, it's not like her telling Negan doesn't mean that Bruegel's not going to attack or that, you know, it's 100% he's going to like make it through, but it's enough where she feels like I've done my part. Whatever happens, happens, but at least he knows. Maggie's just one of like my favorite characters, and I really love that we've gotten to like go along with her like along this journey. Because even though she was a big part of The Walking Dead, there were so many like other characters, and they were also amazing. So it's just nice to see her highlighted,
Yeah.
um, because she's so like multi-dimensional. She like you can understand her motivations, even if you don't agree with them. Like I never agreed with her hanging Gregory. He was a shit, and I didn't
Yes,
like
he
him.
was.
But
But
I don't
yeah.
think that's the way you do it, babe. Like that is you tapping into like the Negan because you're ruling by fear. Like you're showing
Yeah.
people that if you double cross me, this is what's going to happen.
Hmm.
But I also love that she can look at that now probably and be like, oh, that wasn't my best moment because she's like grown up and it's different. And I don't know. I just really love her. And I love that Negan is being like, he's being very vulnerable, like as you said
Hmm.
earlier.
Hmm.
And he's so afraid of being like his old like persona. And I really think she takes that into account because she's so kind and she's so empathetic and I think she gets it. I don't think she'll ever truly forgive him or forget anything. I think she'll forgive him. I don't think she'll forget. Because you can't. I really like their conversation where he says, "Were the old time," or where he asks her, "Were the old times really better, or was it just easier to remember that way?" And I feel like it's you can look more fondly on a past memory that at the
Hmm.
time might not have been it, but because it's in the past and the emotions no longer tied there, you're more likely to remember like the better things and ignore the bad things.
Hmm.
It's just it was so good.
It was so good. As I'm hearing you talk, it makes me realize why and how much I love that scene. Also, the part with Ginny and with Maggie was pretty pivotal because I feel like with Maggie saying all that, realizing all that, and her saying, "Look, I can't tell you what to do because I don't even know what to do because I'm just reacting and maybe I should have killed him right off. I don't know, maybe I waited too long and here I am." I don't know if she actually says this. Why do I get the feeling it was like either she said it or it just makes sense. It's basically, but if even if I did it, would it really change anything, right?
I think yeah, because she says
Because
like she's thought about it but she's like she
oh,
doesn't
I've
know what's on
lost
the
everything. Yeah, I've lost
yeah.
everything because of this. I've lost everything. And of course, she's talking about her son and just so many other relationships too,
Glenn.
because even the relationships that she had with Rick and Michonne back then, because that was such, that impacted them back at that time too. And so it's like, all of this hate and grief and everything just festers inside you and it won't let you go unless you figure out your way through it, around it, whatever it might be. And now it's ruining her and her son's relationship. And although I do think that she's correcting herself
Oh
and
yeah.
figuring it out and talking about it and because we get to hear it as she's voicing it to Ginny that she really is thinking about this. She is trying to figure out her way. And then when hearing Negan trying to figure out his way and asking Maggie questions, and then he's like, "Oh, I have no right to ask you this. I don't know why I did," because he shares with her, should I send my family away? Should I let them here? Because he's contemplating all these things too. He is just so telling her, "Look, I wish Herschel was here so that you could take him with you and you don't have to worry about the drama, but it's not his fault. It's she had her way." I mean, just all these conversations was hitting my heart for between those two. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are really getting to the point where you guys can, or especially Maggie, she can stand there and hear him. In fact, the fact that she tells him, "Look, Bruegel's coming to get all of you and you've got 2 days." I mean, that was huge
Mm-hmm.
for her to say that to him. That was really huge. And I think that's a stepping point or stepping stone in the right direction for her. I really do. So,
I also
um,
think that even though like Negan said he didn't have any right to ask her any of these
yeah.
questions,
Uh
I
huh.
think he wanted her to yell at him. I think he wanted her to say, "You're not worth it.
And
Your
she
family's
didn't.
better off
Yeah.
without you." And she
Yeah.
didn't. And I
Yeah.
wonder if that's going to be like a thing in his head where he's like, wait a minute, maybe I'm not so bad. Because, like, if
Yeah.
the woman who has said so many awful things to me because of what I've done, if she can tell me if she doesn't treat me that way, maybe he's worth like, maybe maybe he's a little bit worth it.
Yeah.
But so
Good
good.
scene. That was good.
And I was just thinking, kind of concerned about the wound on Ginny.
Oh, yeah.
Because like the fact that like she's passing out, like what I guess they're gonna go to a hospital, which is gonna be kind of fun. But I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
because she
I'm
needs
very
something
concerned.
for that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
they
I
show
wonder
her.
if she dies, what's that gonna do to Negan? Is that what if that's oh my gosh, what if that's like the thing that makes him into OG Negan again?
Oh, I don't
I'm
think he's
kidding.
gonna go
No.
back there again. Come on, we worked so hard
I
to
know.
get here. That would be terrible. Oh
But
my
it would be really
gosh.
sad though if she did die.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
hope that she's just the also another stepping stone in the right direction. We'll see. Okay, let's get to our rapid fire round. First one, bear or no bear, what surprised you the most in this episode?
I was shocked that we got to see Narvaez for one last time. We
Hmm.
don't really get to see people after they've been munched on, and it was brutal. And I know I didn't really like her, but I didn't want her to go out like that. And I feel bad that like Bruegel just like let her like die like that. Like he just allowed her to turn. But I bet you the actress probably had like a ton of fun like being a
I
zombie
know.
though.
Probably. She's all cool. I get to do
Yeah, she's
this.
like, look at my leg, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What shocked you?
Herschel. I was so shocked that he was going to poison everybody, knowing that his friends are there too and his mother. I mean, I don't think he would have let her, but maybe I don't know who else, but I know he's trying. I can't believe the Dama still has a hold on him.
I
It just
know.
it boggles my mind. It really does.
Well, he doesn't know
Um,
that she's dead though, right? So maybe
no,
once
he
he's
doesn't. He
yeah.
doesn't. But I that was so surprising to me. Okay, what do you think of Bruegel in this episode?
Oh, he is like I could watch him all day. I think the character is really fun, but I think as I don't trust him and I want him gone. I think he's just real shisty.
Yeah,
Mm.
I thought he gave a Willy Wonka esque vibe at the beginning with his cane. He's all trilling it and follow me here, walk this way. I'm like, what? You think you're the chocolate factory or something? So I thought that was funny. Yeah, he's amusing. He's amusing, but don't trust him at all. So,
Mm-mm.
and that little blackmailer.
I know.
Okay.
And you could see like how he killed his bodyguard with like no regard. That guy's been
Yeah.
with him for what 20 years, so
Yeah.
he's not going to give a shit about anybody else.
No. Well, and he doesn't care about Pearlie. He makes it sound like,
Uh-uh.
oh, this and that. No, he's gonna hang it over his head forever. He'll use
Yep.
it forever. So Pearlie better figure that out.
Yep.
Okay, and what do you expect to see in the next episode? Any big twists, betrayals, or something else? What do you see?
I feel like I want to see Pearlie do something with the methane. I want to see more movement on that, and I think maybe not next episode, but maybe he'll work towards like blowing up the methane just to like get rid of all of it. There's no more competition. I don't know. That's kind of extreme, but it's The Walking Dead.
Yeah. So Maggie and the Croat, I never thought I would see them working together. So I'm excited to see what happens there. Like, how does that work and why? Of course, he needs a leader. So, because he can't seem to do anything on his own. She's all, Maggie, I'm going to clutch onto you. You're going to be my
Mhm.
new person that I'm going to do everything that you say. So, I'm excited to see that. Bruegel and Pearlie, I don't know. I'm hoping Pearlie will get the Bruegel somehow because he's like, you know what? You're going to go tattle on me. This is my opportunity. I'm going to get rid of you. And then we're going to see Negan looking for meds for Ginny. So, he's going to go on a little field trip. So I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
All right. Our question of the day. If you could ask any Dead City character a question right now, who and what would it be?
I want to ask Maggie, why aren't you going to meet up with the crew from Alexandria? Like, why are you not there? Why are you want to go back to the bricks? Just, I want just a little bit of clarity on that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
You?
I'm a broken record because I'm like, Herschel, what the frick is wrong with you, man? I want to know what he was thinking. What were you thinking when you put Walker blood, when you were going to put, and he not hesitated, but he thought for a moment, but then he was, I think, still going to do it until Maggie came out. And then he comes out and he can't even bring himself to say it, and he throws it on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm like, what were you thinking and why? And what does your mother have to do? What really, really, really does she have to do to satisfy you or for you to get over it? Or what needs to happen? So, all right, that's my thought. Friends out there, what about you? If you could ask a Dead City character one question, who and what would it be? Okay? We want to know. You can leave us a comment wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, or you can get to us on social media. All of that is in our show notes or at screensinfocus.com. You can also call us because we love those voicemails, 669-223-8542. And that is in the show notes too, because we want to know what you think or anything about this episode. You see that we talk about the questions that are left for us. So anything you have to share with us, we are here. And in saying that, that is wrapping up our conversation on Dead City. Come back for episode 7. But we're moving to our TV and movie recommendations. And our caller left us a recommendation, and they said Barry on Max. I've only seen part of the first season, and it's really good. I don't even know why I haven't gone back because I know it's really good. It's highly regarded.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it, Sam?
I have. So I've seen what there are 3 or 4 seasons out. I haven't watched the last one yet. I don't really know why either. I think at the time there were just like other things on that I was more interested in, and then I just kind of forgot about it. But it's so Bill Hader is so funny.
Yes, yeah.
I know how Hank's great.
Yeah, we'll have to go check that out again. Hey, you have maybe some time. We'll see.
I do.
Right. What else are you currently watching?
So my husband and I started a rewatch of Stranger Things since it's coming back in November, and we haven't seen the first 2 seasons, maybe 3 seasons in a long time. I don't think we did a rewatch before we watched the 4th, which seems weird now. And I remember when we first started watching it, we had a hard time like watching it. I don't really know why. It was hard. It wasn't a thing I wanted to do. And then I sat down and I eventually watched it. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. It is so entertaining. Like, I'm enjoying it so much. And I don't know. Like, I'm concerned. I'm a little concerned that like the big moments are going to get like, it won't have the same impact. I guess it really wouldn't because I'm watching it for like a second time. But like, I don't know. I'm just interested. It's really good. And I'm also watching the Buccaneers again on Apple TV because the newest season is coming out this weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's based on the Edith Wharton novel, The Buccaneers, and it's 4 to 5 Americans with a ton of money. They go over to England. It's in like the 1800s.
Uh-huh.
And it's just about like their adventures, like of finding like love, and it's it's kind of like a Bridgerton or like a Downton Abbey. So like
okay.
I'm in for all of it.
Yeah.
And then for movies, over the weekend we watched Peninsula, which is on Netflix, and it's a sequel to the movie Train to Busan, which is
is it new or has it been on there?
Peninsula? Oh, it's new. It just came out.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. It's so good.
Is it?
Yeah, like, and I don't want to tell you anything about it because I didn't know anything about it going in, and it made the stuff just, I don't know. I was like pleasantly surprised, and it's like, oh, and like the zombies, like they're fast, and which I think that's way scarier.
So scary. Yeah.
So scary. I will say I don't remember Train to Busan being like this, but it was very like Korean drama, which is just dramatic pauses and things like that, which is fine. But we were like, interesting, because I've never really like watched it, and it didn't take it away. Like, I think it annoyed my husband a little bit. I think it added to it.
Yeah.
But it was really good. Highly recommend that.
Nice.
Yeah.
The listener that called in loved Bloodlines like you. they wanted to say they saw it too, and
Yay!
they're like, "Oh, that was good." So they
So
enjoyed
good.
it. Yeah.
Oh, can I?
Go ahead.
So because of that movie, like over the weekend, I Roger was out of the house and I was like, I'm gonna take a shower by myself. It's gonna be awesome. Like, because I'm doing this like, like on my own. Then I was in the back of my head, I was like, this is definitely like a Final Destination thing because I have this big boot that I have to put on, or like
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
a thing. So it's like it's
Yeah.
over my leg. It's not slippery, but I'm whatever. And then I got out of the shower okay, and then I'm like getting all ready, and I realized I put lotion on my hands, and I was like, I have to go downstairs and I'm gonna have my crutches in my lotion. And then there was all these things. I was like, I'm gonna
Right.
electrocute myself.
Yeah.
Ugh. But it made me giggle.
I think of stuff like that when I'm trying to do when I sort of put my hand down the
Oh,
drain, I'm always like, oh my God, what if you have to open a thing and turn it on, but still you just
yeah.
never know.
But you don't know because like death has a
I know.
thing.
I
Ugh.
know. I was like, oh my God.
Can
And
I say one
yeah.
thing to the listener? The Tony Todd stuff just broke my heart, and I wonder if it also broke your heart. Do you
Oh,
know anything about Tony Todd? Did I talk about this last week? I don't
no,
remember.
no.
So Tony Todd, he's been a character throughout the entire, like pretty much the entire like Final Destination movies. He's like a coroner, so like it makes sense. And during the filming of this movie, he was unfortunately dying of cancer, I think, or dying of like
Oh,
a long
uh-huh.
illness.
Uh-huh.
And towards the end of it, I read this in an article. The a director said that he had given Tony Todd like freedom to just kind of like talk about whatever he wanted to, and it was
Yeah.
talking about like it being like a life and death, and it's just more heartbreaking knowing that he was
Oh,
dying.
yeah.
But I just want to know if it also just like
Yeah.
touched your heartstrings.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh man. All right. Well, okay. So I feel bad just segueing into mine now that we
Oh.
talked about that, but sorry. Okay. So mine, I want to say I've already recommended Duster on Max, but it's so funny and entertaining. It's not supposed to be hilarious, but it's that 70s vibe that I absolutely love. And I love that it's the 70s. There's a black female FBI agent. There's a Native American FBI agent. And then you have Josh Holloway as he's the main character, but he's like, does bad things. And it's just, it's just so good. I love it. And the music is off the charts, 70s gems. It's so good. So I'm having such a great time. I wanted to recommend it again. I am watching The Last Kingdom on Netflix. I'm on episode 4 or 5, something like that. It's getting really good for me now
What's
because I've
that?
watched. It's back in that whole Vikings era, right? Because I watch Vikings, I don't watch Vikings Valhalla, and now I'm watching The Last Kingdom. So it's
Oh, so
during.
it's part of like the
No, it's
Vikings.
not part
Oh,
of the Vikings, but it's that era
time
and
period.
that
Oh,
type of
okay.
stuff. Yeah.
Ooh,
So
I'll have to look into
um,
that.
yeah, so I'm watching that. I watched Straw, which is on Netflix. It's a Tyler Perry film. People are loving this. Now, I just want to say the performances, Taraji P. Henson, Sherry Shepard, just so many people their performances are so good. But I will say some of it felt a little bit, the writing part aspect of it felt a little bit like almost, can this woman take any more bad stuff happening to her? And everybody's awful and mean and says the most horrible thing, like all in one day, like different people, like this person and this person, this one. I don't want to give any away, but it's almost like I couldn't take it. I almost had to stop and not watch it, but I'm like, no, you know what? I'm going to finish this through. And I was all teared up at the end. It is
Yeah.
heartbreaking, but it's a little bit depressing too. But the performances were really good in it, though. I really appreciated what they did here. I also watched Becoming Led Zeppelin. It's on Netflix. I wanted to watch this film when it came out. It's a biographical documentary, and it is, if you love Led Zeppelin, if you love rock music, everybody should watch this who does. Just watching these four guys, men, boys at the time come together and being so phenomenal, so passionate, so good at their craft, and then coming together and making this music and becoming one of the biggest rock bands of all time. And it's so funny to watch in the UK, kids were like plugging their ears, like the first time they had seen them. They're like, none of them looked happy. They all looked like they got a free ticket and then they were all mad. And then and then that like 2 months later, they come to the United States where they're accepted more because I think they're in some kind of FM radio and they're hearing their music. And so America accepted them so much easier and out there listening to them. And then that began during that year. That's what this highlights and how they became, one of the number one bands in the world. So it's so good. So good.
I might have to watch this because I did not know that Led Zeppelin was British.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've heard the people, because I know the names of the folks that are in the band.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I've heard them speak and I've been like, oh, you can hear that they're British, but I don't know. I never really thought about it, I guess.
Well, because
I should watch it.
And you don't, I will say,
I think to be honest, I think it's because I've never really listened to them because it's just not my thing. My parents weren't really into it, I don't think. And if they were, it wasn't something that like, I probably just didn't like how it sounded then. I'll have to ask my brother.
So my husband is such a big, that's his band. I've always loved them too. But my boys all playing instruments, they all played Led Zeppelin songs together. I remember it was one Mother's Day. They played a Led Zeppelin medley. My heart was so freaking full because I was like, the fact that my three boys are playing instrument and they were all playing together, like publicly at a coffee shop, and they were playing the medley of Led Zeppelin. I'm like, this is just too good. So of course they know Led Zeppelin. So I will say the first 40 minutes is a lot about their past and how they grew up and what their parents thought and all that. It wasn't until the 40-minute mark did they start hearing the music.
Oh, I love backstories.
But I didn't know some of the music that they've played in. Some of these guys were, what do you call it? Musician studio people that go in and help you play the music, when you record it. It was like Goldfinger, which is a James Bond movie, and To Serve Love, which I love that. I mean, they played in so many of these. So they were this is even before they were in the band. So that just goes to show you how good they were. And they were so young at the time. So it just shows their passion and their creativity and everything. So it's just a really good watch and I highly recommend it. So anyway.
And I have the time.
Yeah. Those are our recommendations. And if you have a recommendation, we'd love to hear that too. But I do want to thank Sam for being here today. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Thank you for being here, as always. And friends out there, we are so grateful that you tuned in. We hope we said something that resonated with you, gave you a chuckle, some insight, something to think about. Remember to subscribe to Screens in Focus at screensinfocus.com and recommend this to a friend. Tell them to check it out. We would love more people calling in and letting us know what they think. Keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.